I saw in this room, it was a huge room, I just knew it was a man, I knew it was a person, but I saw someone hanging from the roof. I knew that it was a male. There was a white sheet over this person, but I could see the hands tied.
When we went to the psychic, I'm a type of person who was a bit skeptical about these things because I'm not a person that believes in these type of things much, but as you could see in the long run, I mean, it paid off, paid dividends.
Join me, Elizabeth Marshall, as we take a road trip through the South African psyche, taking you to the edge of society's norms and beyond. It's time for Tales from the Edge. Is there such a thing as a true psychic? Is it possible to look into a crystal ball and see someone's future? In this chapter, I investigate the phenomenon of extrasensory perception. Does it exist? If so, what proof do we have? It's time for Mirror, Mirror on the Wall.
My big initiation, and I would say this is the thing that really woke me up to the fact that you get to see things, you get to feel things, they start happening. I think I was about 11 or 12. And although I'm Italian, my parents are fully Italian. My family was all born in Italy. I was born here in South Africa. And I grew up in Natal, was living in Natal. And one night I woke up screaming. I said to my mom, came to see why I was screaming in my room. And she asked me, what was going on? Did I have a bad dream? And I said, no, it wasn't a dream. I had this vision. I saw someone hanging from the roof. I knew that it was a male. There was a white sheet over this person, but I could see the hands tied. And the awful thing is I saw what looked like a steel pipe that was up through in the rib cage, going out the back. This was really terrifying for me. Exactly a week later, a phone rang and my mom said, go and answer the phone, and I refused. I said, no, it's for you. It's for you. She said, go and answer the phone. And I said, no. So huff and a puff, off she went. And I heard her speaking in Italian, and the next minute she was crying. And then it just hit me. It was like a wall. It hit me that there's now something is like relating to me, because she was just staring at me and crying. Anyway, it turned out that her brother, that was then in Italy, had been murdered, and he was found hanging from the ceiling downstairs of the townhouse. In fact, his hands were tied with rope. He'd had a sheet thrown over him, and he did have a pipe that was put up through his rib cage. Exactly what I had seen was there, and they repeated that to my mom on the phone. Today, there are a lot of people that are very anti what I do. I'm still, even in this day and age, called a demon, a devil. But my story is this. I grew up as a Roman Catholic, a staunch Roman Catholic. It's scary because you hear that because you feel these things and hear these things, you're possessed. I started questioning because I knew I wasn't an evil person. I was still a child. I wasn't evil. I wasn't possessed. My family are very well-loved people. And, why me? If you can use what you've been given to help others, to guide them, then that is what you should be doing. I would say that the most of my work involves almost as if you could imagine a movie playing out in your mind, and you're describing out the characters or what you're hearing and what you're seeing. Right, basically this is what I use, nothing too fancy. I do have a crystal ball which I use, but very seldom. It belonged to a very well-known psychic, and her daughter gave it to me as a gift this year. A lot of people do use just the crystal ball. I've used it on several occasions, and it has helped, but mostly what I do if I'm doing a spiritual spiritual sessions, if I'm doing clairvoyance, I would tend to hold one of my crystals, all the crystals that I have normally here on my desk. I would hold a crystal. I like to hold my client's hand, or I like to hold an item of clothing or jewelry. The cards help me to give better details as to hair color, eye color, more specifics. Generally though, just sitting with you, looking at you, I can see things around you. I pick up things around you. When I meet someone for the first time, it's like I'm meeting you, but I'm seeing your past, your present, your future. Everything's just around you.
What do you see in my future for my career?
Career-wise? All right, let's have a look. All right, so you ready for whatever I see, good or bad?
Yes.
The advice I give you is this. You're working for a woman at the moment. She seems to be the main boss or the top sort of person. And you have ideas of maybe moving forward, moving on. You're feeling cramped, you're feeling that you need something different. You want to maybe improve or move up as far as the work ladder is concerned. And an offer is going to come up. It's coming from an African gentleman who offers you to work in his group, and it looks like a group that you're going to be working through. The only problem is that you're going to have a boss that's going to hit on you all the time, and you don't like him, so you're going to have that problem. Best advice for you right now is to stay where you are. The year 2011, not a good year for change. Stay with the flow for the moment.
My dad has diabetes, and I know my grandfather died of a heart attack. So health-wise, what does my health look like?
You're concerned about health? No, I'm not concerned about diabetes for you. Not at this stage. No, not for a long time. And a heart for you would only be weight related. So if at a later stage, when you hit your middle age, from about 45, 46, if you allow the weight to pile on at that stage, then I would be concerned about health.
And I'll just consider it and keep it in my mind for future references. And if anything that she's mentioned does come along my path, then I'll know what to do. So in a way, it's equipped me for the future before it's even happened.
I have these lovely next door neighbors, and she phoned me up, I think it was a Thursday or Friday, and said to me, Diva, our local vet, his little dog, Sarah, she's very important to our vet that we all love so much. It's his child, pretty much, okay?
Last year, November 2009, just before my birthday, Sarah, my dog, and I were sitting out in the front of our house, and I went inside for a minute to do things, and there was a sudden flash of lightning and a thunder sound, and she has noise phobia. So when I came out, she had disappeared. So the whole night I did ride around searching the whole neighborhood. It was raining. The next morning I put out pamphlets. I contacted a whole lot of people.
Got up early Sunday morning and phoned my neighbor and said to her, okay, bring your car, we're going to go and find Sarah today. So she came out, I met her, and I said to her, well, let's phone Dr. Palmer. And she said, no, we can't do that. It's his birthday today and he's really down. And I said, look, if it was my little one that's missing, I'd want to be there in the search. Phone him. So she did.
By the Sunday morning, Diva offered her services and came to my house. My dog is lost.
Where did she go missing? What happened?
We were standing out here, and I went inside for a minute, and when I came out, she was gone.
All right, let's have a look. So she was here, outside here. This is where she went missing.
Yes.
All right, let's have a look. Just want to sense where she was and see if I can pick up anything. There was a big noise.
Yes.
What I'm sensing is that she's gone in this direction here. So to me, it's like northeast. So I think what we need to do is go back to the furthest point this way that we can and work our way back here and see if we can pick out, maybe I'll sense as we go along, where was she, so we'll stop in that direction. Now it was already 2-3 days she'd been missing.
She was quite confident that she could find my dog, and she even said that before 12 o'clock, midday, that Sunday, she would find her.
Myself and Dr. Palmer were sitting in the car, and my neighbor Sharon was busy driving, and I was guiding her where she should drive, and I said, we're going to go to the furthest point and work our way back in that direction. We ended up in this very desolate place, and of course Roger, Dr. Palmer, was running around calling, Sarah, Sarah, and nothing. And then I looked up, and across the valley I saw this very green area, and it just hit me, Sarah's there.
She actually specified and showed us the actual complex, the townhouse complex, where we would find her.
So there's a security guard at the boom, he let us through, and we asked him, have you by any chance seen this little dog? And he said, oh yes, she's been here for 2 days. And of course at this point, Roger jumps out of the car and he goes down a little way, and we just see this little, he calls her, and we see this little black ball come running and flying into his arms. The two of them, it was just such an emotional moment, because we were all hugging and kissing. I don't know what everyone thought.
So I was very, very elated.
I do a lot of cases that I work quite closely with the police. The Norwood rapist case, how that came about is I was having dinner with my husband, I was watching television, and at that stage there was a program called Police File. Identikits were being put on, and this case came up that they were looking for a rapist. Identikit of a young man was on there, and while I was eating I looked at this, and it just came to me. I could actually see who the person was, and I said to my husband, that's not the right person, they're going after the wrong person.
The Norwood rapist started off in Norwood, attracting his victims. He used to obviously watch people, used to surveillance people, and he used to obviously track them down and wait till late at night when things were quiet, and he used to obviously then go into their property if he tried to break in or burgle them, and once he got in he would then obviously attack his victim.
I did a session, I wrote it all down, typed it all out, and the next day there was a number, it was in the newspaper, the same identikit with a number of one of the detectives. I phoned him and I said, listen, you've got the wrong person. And of course, who are you? And I said, well, I'm Diva the psychic, but you've got the wrong person, and if you'd like my notes, you're very welcome. So he said yes, they sent someone to collect my notes, and the next minute the captain of the police at that stage at Norwood contacted me, and now this rapist, it had gone on from one person to the next. In a very crude, artistic way, I'd drawn a sketch of this person and told them who it was. I gave them a name, I told them where they would find him, and it led to the captain and his assistant coming to my house with one of the victims. I actually sat with her and went through the whole scenario while I was holding her actual PJs. It was just horrific. She was freaked out. I mean, she had never been to a psychic before, and they thought that maybe by bringing her and going through reliving this whole experience, it would help. And it was awful for her. It was awful for me because I felt what she felt.
When we went to the psychic, I'm a type of person who was a bit skeptical about these things, but as you could see in the long run, I mean, it paid off, paid dividends.
And needless to say, all the notes that I gave, the name and everything, yes, this person was arrested. Yes, that was his name. Everything that I gave in my notes tied in with this particular person.
The suspect's name at the time was then Constable Geldernes. We were quite shocked at the station, especially a lot of members that knew him, who found out who he was. Especially the people that stayed in the single quarter barracks, who were friends with him. You know, during office hours, after office hours, they spent time together. We found out at a later stage during our interrogations with him that we were actually looking for him in the evenings, and he was actually watching movies with some of the members that were working in our detective unit's girlfriends and colleagues as such. So the members were totally shocked that it was actually a member that lived with them.
It's good to know that sometimes, you know, you can solve a case, you can put closure to a case, let's put it that way. I've had 2 people walk out in 30 years. Now that's difficult, because that person sitting in front of you, they're all ears, all eyes, they want to hear what they want to hear, and you're telling them something completely different. Obviously, they're not going to accept it. In this instance, I had a client called Anastasia. She came to me for her own private dealings, and I picked up something around her mom.
Basically, in the beginning, what happened was my mother was very unhappy. She felt insecure where she was living. She felt something was bothering her the whole time. She didn't know where to turn in the end, and I said to her, well, Mom, go see Diva. Diva's helped me in the past, and I'm sure she can help you. So consequently, she went to go and see Diva, and Diva didn't have such fabulous news for her.
She wanted to know everything. She was one of these people that said, whatever you see, Diva, I want to know. And I said, what about death? She says, I don't care, I'm good with that. And I was like, but what if it's your death? And she said, I want to know. It was very emotional. And here I'm telling this woman, look, I do see your death. And she's, well, what do you see? Because I'm having visions of my own death. What do you see? So we compared notes, and I said to her, well, this is what I see. I see you being murdered. I see who's going to murder you. I see what you're wearing at the time that you're being murdered. I see how they're going to find you. I'm looking at all of this, and it's like a movie playing out in front of me. And before she left, I begged her. I said, look, please, you live on one of your family members' property. I begged her. I said, look, even if you have to force him, just let him come to me. Maybe if I talk to him, maybe we can convince him. He did come. He was brought here. He did come. Threw his money down on the table for the session and said, right, you know, I don't want to be here, but tell me what you see anyway. Some people you just can't convince. And well, he left. And within a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call from Anastasia. Very, very sad. Anastasia, her mother had been murdered. She'd been taken from us, and most of the details was exactly as I had given them. You know, the sad thing is that your mother was really dreaming of this. She really knew that she was going to pass on, and probably that's why she came to see me, and she got the confirmation from me. It's one of the hardest things that I've had to do, is tell someone that it's their own death that I'm seeing. It wasn't just one person that was involved in the murder of her mother. There were 3 people, in fact, involved. One, to me, appears to be Mozambican. The other is from Zimbabwe. And the third person, probably the main person, is a local guy who knows or knew your mom very well and knows the home very well. So it's someone that's working on the premises. I believe he got in through the window, and he would have let the other two, whichever the other two were, the other two would have come in through one of the doors, a glass door, and a battle ensued where your mom was obviously trying to protect herself. It must have been horrifying for her to have recognized one of them. You should pursue it because it's your mother's request that you actually pursue this further. The investigation may have come to a dead end right now, but if they pursue this and you really get someone to listen to this, they will find who the culprit is and justice will be done.
And the High Commissioner pursued it. As Diva said, there were 3 involved because they took the investigation seriously this time, and it was brought to justice. They were caught and imprisoned, and I finally had some sort of closure, and it was thanks to Diva's help. She's helped bring justice to the family. They are behind bars because they deserve to be behind bars, and I really do urge other people to look for help in this way. It works, it does work.
Her memory will always be with me, always.
I couldn't definitely keep lies like serious lies of friends, you know. So now I want to go to Pete's house and then end up going to Mark's house. I can't do things like that. Can't lie about girlfriends. Can't lie about spending too much money on girls, things like that. And my mum would always find out, so yeah.
Since primary school, I was in a very Christian school, and yes, some kids did tease me about it because not everyone's accepting about it, but I found that in high school most of the kids are accepting with it. My friends do know about it and they're okay with it.
You know, what does your mom do? She's a psychic, wow, and you'd get the interest, but you also get the ones that would run a mile. You know, your mom's a witch.
I'm comfortable with it. I consider it, if I had that kind of gift, I would use it to its limit, you know. I would suss out everything, you know. I would definitely put my money on the stock markets, things like that. But yeah, I think it's really awesome. I don't consider myself psychic.
I think I've taken her ability to read people's minds, what they can say and what they're not saying at the moment. If they're saying something bad about me, most of the time I'll pick it up, or something good about me. I have taken her cards sometimes to practice, and I didn't think she'd seen me with the cards, but apparently she did.
I think sometimes she's stronger than what I am. She's, whether she likes it or not, has gained the gift, if you want to call it a gift. I don't really see this as a gift, by the way. I honestly believe everybody has psychic ability. It's the sixth sense that you weren't taught.
Ever since a little girl, I've picked up that I was more sensitive than other people, and I'll ask them are they okay or something, and they'll ask me in return why, how could you pick this up? How did you know these kind of things? And I wouldn't know.
And she's very strong. She can pick up what you're thinking, and of course it just blows their minds, makes them very scared.
Honestly, I do enjoy it, having the ability to. I think it's a sixth sense and that everyone does have it, but most people don't use it.
No psychic gift. I don't know if I'm going to win the lotto or things like that. I just go to the casino and place bets on roulette. Yeah.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the most psychic of them all?